All right, metabolic workout number 2, circuit number 2. This is a metabolic MRT circuit. So we just finished our density training circuit. You rested for a couple of minutes, caught your breath. Now we're gonna move into our first MRT circuit. Because we already did something, we're a little tired, we only got 4 exercises for this circuit. So we're gonna start with a standing military press for the shoulders, a lot of core. Then we're gonna move into a barbell reverse lunge, which is gonna be for the legs, equally working the quads and the hamstrings. Then we're gonna move to a bent over dumbbell row, which is gonna be for the lats. And again, a lot of core, even some hamstring involved in that. And then we're gonna finish with a dumbbell wood chopper, which is gonna be a lot of core and some shoulder as well. We're gonna move from one exercise to the next. Again, minimal rest in between. You wanna rest maybe 20 seconds max if you need to. Otherwise, you wanna keep moving from one exercise to the next. All right, we're gonna start with the barbell military press. If you can't press a full Olympic size bar, which is 45 pounds, then start with something, one of those straight bars at maybe 30 pounds or 35 pounds. Whatever works for you. I'm gonna start with the military bar, and I got some 25s on the ends of this. As far as equipment needed, all you need is a barbell. I'm gonna use the exact same weight for the military press as I used for the reverse lunge. And then I have 3 dumbbells. One single dumbbell for the wood choppers and 1 pair of dumbbells for the bent over row. So not a lot of equipment necessary. All you need is a rack in a commercial gym and a couple of dumbbells, and you'll be just fine to do this circuit. Military press. Hands are gonna be right in front or maybe slightly outside of our shoulders. We don't wanna be too far wide because we're not gonna be able to control the weight quite as much. So we wanna make sure our hands are in a nice strong position to push. Also on the military press, you wanna use a very challenging weight, but we don't wanna be so far challenged that our back is hyperextending back in order to lift the weight up. So you wanna make sure you can use a weight that you can control in the overhead position. I'll show you what it's gonna look like. Also, if you struggle with bending back too far on this military press, widen out those feet a little bit. By widening out those feet, you can sit back in your hips a little bit and keep this position nice and neutral, as opposed to being too narrow with our feet and then having to lean back. So again, if you struggle with that, open up those feet a little bit. And also, one last thing you can do is use those knees. Towards the end of the set, if you start to get tired, use your knees to pop that barbell up, okay? All right, here we go. Pull this bar off right to the top of the chest. Keeping a nice neutral pelvis. I'm pulling my navel in towards my spine. I'm tightening up my glutes. That's gonna keep my core nice and tight in a nice position to protect my back. I'm gonna drive this barbell up, and notice it goes up and slightly back as I pull my head through. As soon as you finish that, you're gonna rack it, and then we're gonna move right into the barbell reverse lunge. So we talked about the reverse lunge a lot already. Chest up, nice deep stride back. Make sure you're getting a 90-degree angle on the front leg, 90-degree on the back leg. We're gonna do single leg, so 1 at a time. All the reps on our right leg, then all the reps on our left leg. Again, no rest. Racking that barbell. Walk the barbell tall back in and then rack it. I see too many guys going in to rack it, bending over kind of like this, trying to hook it in. You miss that hook, you're gonna have a really bad day. Also, that's gonna put a lot of pressure on your back. So walk tall, back in, and then rack it. Next, we're moving into the bent over dumbbell row. So get a set of dumbbells. Common mistakes on this are rounding of the back. So our hips are gonna be back. Rounding back here, that's no good. That's gonna put a lot of pressure on our spine. It's not gonna feel good for your back. So make sure, again, you pull those shoulder blades down and back. That's not only gonna help us engage the lats more, but that's gonna protect our back and keep it nice and neutral and keep our core in a really good position to protect that spine. So make sure you're pulling those shoulder blades down and back. Also, the other mistake is not getting your chest over far enough. if you stay too tall on these, you're gonna end up doing much more upper back, even a lot of shoulders and traps is what you'll be using if you don't bend far back enough. So make sure you get that chest as far back, or that chest as far down towards the ground as you can. So getting in this position here and rowing and pulling towards those hips as opposed to being too high and then doing this kind of a thing. We're not doing a Yates row here, we're doing a bent over row. So push those hips back, let those dumbbells drift in front, nice position in the back, shoulder blades down and back, pull towards the hip, right in front. Another good cue for that is you want to feel like you're trying to touch your elbows together behind your back. That's going to really maximize the squeeze of your shoulder blades together and really maximize the effect on the lats and all the muscles in the back that are moving at that time. So again, try to feel like you're trying to touch your elbows behind your back. It's really going to maximize the range of motion. Last exercise, dumbbell wood chopper. Great exercise for the core, but be careful on this one. Don't use a weight that's too heavy. Go conservative on it, otherwise you could do some damage to your back. What we're gonna be doing is grabbing a dumbbell just like this, grab it with one hand, other hand goes right on over top. We're gonna bend at the knees and at the hips. Dumbbell's gonna start just like this, and we're gonna go up at 45 degrees like we're trying to throw the weight up and over our shoulder in this direction. So move in a nice, controlled manner on those. If you go too fast or use a weight that's too heavy, again, you can obviously you can injure your back. So use a weight that's a little conservative on that and control the movement.